I'm not a lawyer, but there's a new 15-page lawsuit that's been filed against Diddy, Bad Boy Entertainment, Sean John Clothing, and Universal Music Entertainment Group. And I got the docs, so let's go through it. First of all, the lawsuit was filed under the New York City Victims of Gender Motivated Violence Protection Act, which on a basic level gives victims of gender motivated violence the ability to civilly sue for money their abusers regardless of when the abuse occurred, as long as the abuse occurred in New York and as long as they filed the lawsuit before February 28th, 2025. And for context, SA falls within a type of gender motivated violence. Got that? All right, now let's get to the suit. So it was filed by a woman named Crystal McKinney, and she says that at age 17, she won a modeling competition through MTV and then was given a modeling contract with IHG. From there, her career took off, leading her to model with Tommy Hilfiger, Macy's, Elle, Cosmopolitan, and more. In 2003, when she was 20 years old, a designer invited her to attend a men's fashion week event in downtown New York. According to the docs, that designer told her that she was going to be meeting Diddy and wanted to ensure that Diddy found her attractive. She was instructed to get a root touch-up to ensure her hair was platinum blonde. The suit says that the designer also handpicked out the outfit for Crystal to wear, and then it says that, quote, due to the traumatic events to occur later, plaintiff, meaning Crystal, saved the unwashed clothing from that night in her closet where they remain in a plastic wrap. So Crystal says she goes to where the designer was dining with Diddy, and once there, Diddy made a, quote, very public display of coming on to the plaintiff in a suggestive manner, which continued on throughout dinner. Diddy allegedly complimented Crystal's eyes and told her she was going to make it big one day as a model and that he had power in the industry and was going to help further her career. So the two exchange phone numbers, the flirting continues, and the drinking continues, according to the docs. Later that night, the suit says that Diddy requested Crystal come back to his studio. She gets there and sees that it's Diddy and several other men passing around Hennessy and joints. So she joins in on the festivities, and one of Combs's associates allegedly replied to her, "You've never had festivities like this before." Crystal says she later learned that the festivities were laced. So Crystal proceeds with consuming what was being passed around, and when she wanted to stop, the suit says that Diddy pressured her by saying she was acting too uptight. At the point when she felt like she was floating, Diddy allegedly demanded and physically led Crystal to a bathroom. Once there, he allegedly kissed her without consent, shoved, and forced her to perform. When it was all over, the suit says that Diddy led Crystal back to the studio where she felt woozy and eventually lost consciousness. Crystal says when she woke up, she was in a taxi cab headed back to the designer's apartment, and as she began to regain her consciousness, she realized that she had been assaulted. Following the assault, Crystal says that her modeling opportunities dwindled, and she believes that she was blackballed from the industry at the hands of Diddy. She became depressed, anxious, and struggled with addiction. Crystal says that she is a woman of faith, and when she saw news coverage of the lawsuits from Cassie Ventura, as well as Miss Dickerson Neal and the others, she knew she had a moral obligation to speak up. So the first and only cause of action in this lawsuit is related to the New York City Victims of Gender Motivated Violence Protection Act, which she says that this assault falls within. And now remember, there are other defendants in this case. There's Bad Boy, Sean John, and Universal Music Group. And according to Crystal, she says that they should be held liable because they failed to protect her from a known danger and failed to have policies and procedures in place to prevent these kind of assaults from happening. That Diddy was. Crystal also says that prior to her assault, these companies should have known that Diddy was not fit to be in a position of authority because they were aware, or should have been aware, of his propensity to commit SA. Crystal says that these companies enabled Diddy's abuse by allowing him to maintain a position of power. And so she's suing all of them. What is this, lawsuit number 6, 7? I think I gotta go back and count them all.